To this headline story now, the state capture inquiry continues hearing the evidence from former Public Enterprises Minister Lynne Brown today. Brown has testified, in fact, last week on how ministerial oversight over SOE'S was a challenge due to delays in critical reports reaching the ministerial office. Brown contended this was a long-standing structural weakness which created the impression of a lack of oversight. Let's get you the latest now on what we can expect. Joining us from outside Eskom's head office in Megawatt Park is Newzroom Afrika senior reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli. And Tumaole, the state capture inquiry today is sitting even though it is a public holiday. And of course, that is because there is some ground that needs to be clawed back here if the deadline is going to be met.
Absolutely, Michelle, and all eyes will be on the State Capture Commission of Inquiry as it resumes its hearings this morning. And what it seeks to basically iron out is what happened to the power utility. Now, we've heard from various, testimonies and witnesses how Eskom was the pride of South Africa. And in fact, one of the best SOE'S of its kind on the continent. On par with the best in the world. How did it happen that this once shining beacon is now experiencing a problem where it basically cannot guarantee that it can keep its lights on, fighting to keep the lights on? We know that load shedding has been suspended temporarily by the power utility, but the CEO of Eskom has been very frank and forthcoming, saying that it's a work in progress because Eskom had lost billions when it comes to what happened during the period that the State Capture Commission of Inquiry has been investigating. So these are some of the things that Minister Lynne Brown will have to answer to, because as she spoke last week, on the table was the fact that accountability was a key problem. How did oversight fail? The Commission Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, Commission Chair, was very harsh, Michelle, in saying where was the leadership. Now, Minister Lynne Brown, former Minister Lynne Brown rather, has painted a picture where she says that she couldn't intervene. The structural system as it stands doesn't allow the minister to intervene directly, and there are delays because by the time she received reports, it was already weeks too late. However, the Commission chairperson, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, was saying that that's not good enough. And that's where we find ourselves. We know that, of course, the President Cyril Ramaphosa has also been tasking government to look very closely, and those will be officials at Eskom, and of course also the ministers, to say that SOE'S cannot keep failing, and Eskom specifically has to be kept on. The lights have to be kept on.
I mean, Tumaole, listening to the evidence from Minister Lynne Brown, who also says Eskom was already in chaos when she arrived there, and in fact, she has a reputation as a corruption buster. Listening to the evidence of Anuj Singh, the former Eskom CFO at the power utility as well, it seems that we're going to struggle to get an explanation, a real honest account of why we are in the position we are in at the moment with our power utility. No one seems to be to blame.
Very, very good observation there, Michelle. No one seems to be to blame. But the question that the evidence leaders, as well as, of course, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, keep stressing is the fact that didn't officials know that some of the decisions they took were effectively illegal? They went against the operating models. They went against the legislation that governs SOE'S. We're looking at specifically the issue of the 1064 locomotives. Now, the 1064 locomotives deal was an acquisition of locomotives that were geared at, transporting coal, basically to keep the lights on. Now, this is through the Transnet stream of evidence. And then again, Anuj Singh and others seem to have painted a picture where they try to defend decisions that went against the law in issuing out deals to Gupta-linked entities. The name of Salim Essa has been bandied about quite often, and he seems to be the central player there. Minister Lynne Brown was quizzed about whether she had met Salim Essa, whether she engaged with him, and she said that she had no direct links with Salim Essa. She met him a couple of occasions, but he always seems to be around. And this is the thing, Michelle. Where is the accountability? Where does the buck stop? And this is what the Commission of Inquiry is trying to establish. And this is what Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo and the evidence leaders will have to answer when they draft their final recommendations and put their report through.
Yeah, absolutely. What an incredibly big job that will be. Tumaole Mohlaoli, thanks very much for that. Eskom-related evidence continuing at the state capture inquiry today.